Okay. What up, Shoshana Investment Tribe? Rita Mavunda here, and today we have got a fantastic guest for you. And today, as you guys know, we like to do a lot of conversations about business, about having businesses in Kenya, and how do we really make that transition into being able to have your own situation, right? Now, one of the big challenges that every business owner faces, myself included, is capital, AKA cash, right? Cream rules everything around me. We understand it. So today what I thought would be a really good idea is to actually have someone who is in this arena, who has some experience in the finance side, has had their own successful businesses where they have been able to do this, and kind of talk to you guys. And this is going to be a very superficial conversation. This man has way too many acronyms and way too stuff. Okay, I've been taking notes, y'all. However, some of it's going over my head as well. So this is going to be a very entry level, very superficial, for a lack of a better word, conversation about kind of what do you need to kind of look at, understanding certain things in your business profile, in your strategies. What do you want to look for? And really starting to understand some of the terms of art. So without further ado, let me take it away. Rashaan, introduce yourself to the good people and give them a little background about yourself.
Right, so I'm Rashaan Campbell. I have about 20 plus years in financial services. I'm kind of shy to admit that at this point in my life, but so 20 plus years in financial services, including investment banking, asset management consulting, and a few other things. So I've been around the block in the finance world. Moved to Kenya about 2 years ago, loving it. It's a totally different market in terms of finance. You don't come out here looking for a job. You know, if you ain't hustling, then you shouldn't be out here. But there are tremendous opportunities. I like to call it a blue ocean, in the sense that there are just so many opportunities to assist and to make money that aren't being served. Specifically in the area that Rita's talking about, we're talking about MSME finance.
Ooh, give him, see, y'all heard that, right? He slipped in an acronym. He's going to do that. And you guys, any ones you don't catch, hit me up in the comments and I'll definitely hit them up. So you just ran through one real quick, fast.
MSME. So we're talking about micro, small to medium enterprises. And these are just kind of like your ventures, your startups. Africa generally, Kenya definitely filled with MSMEs.
Yeah.
And where we're from, so the States, there are lots of other capital sources. So these same businesses, if they were situated in the States, have access to so many more capital sources. It's not even really comparative.
So let me just break it down again. So I'm going to be like the dum-dum in this. So every question I'm going to ask you. So when you're saying capital sources, right, what does that exactly mean? What are the capital sources a business has available to them or access to them?
So let's say in the U.S., you have SBA loans, you have regular bank loans, you have, more sources of equity funding for private securities. You have, there's just a litany of places where you can get money to make capital inflows to invest in your business. We just don't really have that out here. But instead of speaking about it as a problem, it's a tremendous opportunity.
So I like how you're saying that, right? Because even earlier, even before we did this, we had a whole conversation because he's also been helping me understand this. And I like how you're kind of saying it about changing your mentality and how you're thinking, right? Because I think that we get a lot of Kenyans who are here where they're like, oh, it's got to be better in America. I want to go to America. However, right, there's so many of people like you and me where we're like, no, there's so many other opportunities here. So can you give the people just some opportunities that you're saying that are here for people to take advantage of in this blue ocean?
Absolutely. So agribusiness is key. Africa has something like 60% of the world's arable land. Those are opportunities that are tremendous. And then you have, just anything. We have opportunities in what I do. I help to raise capital. I help to try to facilitate growth through these businesses. It's job creating. It's things that I really care about. Infrastructure development. So, you have a burgeoning space. I won't say the acronym, but private-public partnerships. So
private-public partnerships. No,
yeah.
Say it.
So, that's really amazing out here because what you're really trying to do is there's such a dearth of capital out here that, if you have capital, even if it's relatively expensive, where you're from, in our case, the U.S., it's inexpensive here. And so that's a tremendous opportunity. And if you actually fund a company properly, and you kind of have controls in place, you can receive multiples out here that you can't get in the U.S. So now the benefit to being out here is much better because it is an emerging market. It's growing faster than the U.S. You don't have to invest in a unicorn to make money.
Yeah.
You can invest just in regular businesses. I'm invested right now into very basic things. So agribusiness, self-storage. Self-storage is an opportunity, a tremendous opportunity. Rita, again, what we take for granted in the States, a month-to-month lease on a self-storage unit, that may be less than $100 per month. Can you get that out here in general? Well, you can now because we've invested in the company.
Done it.
Yeah. So receiving major multiples on that. There's opportunity. This isn't yet in Kenya, but in Zimbabwe, I have a friend who's invested in medicinal marijuana. Tremendous opportunity.
Yeah. Has he looked into Malawi? Malawi has started allowing a lot of that stuff as well.
I don't know. He's in Zimbabwe. It's something that we want to get involved in.
Yeah.
We're looking for the right opportunity to do that. But see, the great thing of it is that the MSME market is huge. If we're talking globally, we're talking probably 5.2 trillion. That's a T, not a B. 5.2 trillion. So again, looking at it in terms of space that's not being occupied, right? If we're talking about sub-Saharan Africa, where we are, we're looking at between 400 billion and maybe a half a trillion, if not more. These are people who need access to capital. And not every deal is a great deal, but there are some amazing deals out here, and that's what we're trying to facilitate and help.
And so give the people an idea, right? So I know earlier we were saying you've come over here and that's what you're really passionate about. Can you tell the people what you're passionate about, number one, and then number two, how do the people get in contact with you, right? Because one of the things we talked about is that because we are both expats here and we're part of an expat group, I have access to you, right? However, we started our business just like any other local person. So I have an advantage to meet someone like yourself because of this expat group. But what about your target audience? How do they get to you?
So I'm passionate about, to answer your first question, I'm passionate about financial inclusion. As a financial professional, I definitely see some, I'll be kind and say improprieties in the financial markets, the global financial markets, and how Africa is treated specifically.
Like trash, I'll say it for you. Trash, that's how they treat us, like trash.
It's just not fair.
It ain't fair.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
So, I like to throw stats out, right? So if you look at the 7 major colonial countries, I can't really name them, but the UK, Spain, Italy,
France, Belgium,
and
Portugal,
and I think Germany, right?
Yep.
Their GDP last year was about $14.7 trillion. If you look at I think it was the sub-Saharan countries, including Ethiopia. So the formerly colonized countries plus Ethiopia, their GDP was less than 2 trillion.
Dang, Gina.
And so what we're talking about is a 7X. And all it is because they've extracted resources from this place. So we can't really dwell on the past, but what we have to do is we have to find solutions. And instead of looking at things as problems, we have to look at them as opportunities.
Facts.
So that's why I'm here and that's why I'm trying to do. So financial inclusion is what I'm passionate about.
Fantastic.
How do you get in contact with me? I've joined a Kenyan firm. It's by the name of Puma Capital. We're still small, but we've already placed about 100 million. We've deployed about 100 million in capital. So we are doing deals. And we want to do more. We're looking to investigate models that will allow for the aggregation of capital. So as a local Kenyan, what will work here? We try to leverage your expertise and then value that expertise and then allow you to participate in the deal. So I think that we're really trying to disrupt private securities in this market. And so you'll be hearing a lot more about that over the coming, months as we continue to grow and really expand our brand within the market.
So now, earlier you had said that some of the guys who've been coming to you, they're now giving you pitches, right, and proposals so that you can look at them to see if it's worth it for you guys to do.
Right.
What are some of the things that a person looking for funding should include, number one, and second, what is our local market not doing right in order to be able to get that money? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. So, I mean, I think that the local market does a good job at, getting basic templates as to what should be included in the pitch deck. However, I think when the deck is delivered, one problem I frequently see is that it's not delivered with enthusiasm.
Okay.
So if you don't believe in your product, why should I? The other thing that I think is it's delivered from a space of what I can do for you versus what you can do for me. So as an investor, if I'm looking to deploy capital into your business, I want to know what's going to happen to my capital. We have to break away from the idea of help. This is investment. It's very different. And so what you have to do is help me to believe in your business. I need your enthusiasm. I need your understanding of your market. So, I don't know your market. You have to help me to really, really engage and feel your market. And I think that those are some things that I've seen missing in certain pitches, not all, but in certain pitches.
So now with some of these guys, when they come to you with these pitches, let's say they don't have it all set up in the first time.
Right.
Do you give them the opportunity, maybe like give them feedback and say, hey, you need to kind of work on this, and then they can come back to you? Or does it look better that it's like, one and done? You better come in hot, leave hot. Give me an idea of how, because I think that, we're also coming from an area where we're exposed to a lot more stuff, right? We have a lot more experience in a lot of different areas where sometimes for our local markets, it might be unfair, right?
So again, financial inclusion is, again, my passion. So I like to believe that I spend more time with my clients. I spend time where others would just simply say no because they don't see the deal. They don't see the payday in it for them. For me, this is more than just money. Don't get me wrong, I need money, right? We all do.
We all do, look.
I think that there is, like I said, my experience in the US indicates that it shouldn't be this hard. And I mean, again, I know the U.S. is a quote unquote wealthy country, but there's a ton of wealth here in Kenya specifically that if mobilized correctly, could really, really change the fortunes of a lot of people.
Yeah. Now, what kind of guys, is there a minimum, how am I gonna phrase it, right? Is there a minimum amount that a company who is coming to you guys looking for investment that they should have? Like, what are some of the things, right? Like, for instance, can it be like maybe our local mama boga who's on the side, where maybe she wants to, I don't know, buy more bogas for her inventory, maybe she wants to open up another kiosk? Or are you looking for people like myself, right? Like with Tashana, where we are looking for real, like we're moving in industry, right? We're not saying just a small little brick and whatever. We're trying to be full Comesa region. You understand what I'm saying? So how does that look?
So I mean, we haven't established a minimum, but there are certain deals that we, obviously are going to get us more excited. I mean, so for example, we're looking at growth stage companies. So we're looking at companies that have the potential to grow. We also like the idea of companies that are using technology to scale. So Web3 enablement, those are all key things. A really good marketing plan. I keep using this term blue ocean. A blue ocean just means a space that is kind of free from competition, more or less, or it's not heavily competed. And it's kind of analogous to a red ocean is filled with other competitors, and they're, any food that comes in there, they're all eating at it, so it gets real bloody. A blue ocean is clear. You don't have any predators, right? We're looking for blue ocean opportunities. We're a small firm, so we're trying to hit it out the park as well. So, again, the smaller industries, that may not be something that's going to be in our wheelhouse. But, I like to believe I'll talk to anyone. So,
but I mean, also, right, but like time is money, right?
Absolutely.
And if you're also doing this, there has to be certain things where it's like, bro, don't even come to me with this, right? This doesn't even look right. You haven't even tried. And so maybe give the people, let's say somebody who fits into this criteria as you've explained it. What are 3 things that person should be able to bring to you from that first meeting where you're going to be like, I can take this seriously?
I can take this serious. So, I'll kind of answer your question with, lending criteria, right? So just in this emerging market and, basic lending criteria and not, this isn't, exhaustive. I'm looking at 3 C's, right? So I'm looking at, your capacity to repay a loan, right? Whether or not you have any collateral. And then I'm also looking at your character. So what you can really show me in a first meeting is your character, whether that's in enthusiasm. I want you to get me excited. I mean, I'm looking at pitch decks all day, and it's just like, I want you to provide me with an offer that I can't refuse. Make me an offer I can't refuse. Get me excited about even doing the due diligence to investigate it further. So I think if you can handle that character in the first meeting, it's very helpful for me.
That's gonna at least get you over. Now, what do you think is something, because like one thing I know I definitely hear a lot, and I'm sure you hear it a lot too, right, is because we're obviously from America, our English is different, right? And so when you hear Kenyans, they're like, oh, you speak good English, right? And it's just like, okay, I mean, sure. Or it's just accented English, whatever. So does that whole good English play a big part? Because I definitely think, like, for instance, right, our Kenyan community, they're more conservative. They are not as open and vocal as Americans are, right? We tend to be more excited about certain things. The African generally is not, they're not going to come right at you, be like, you got to love this thing, right? So what do you think that there's certain things that our local market can do, right, to be able to still convey how you're saying what you're looking for within their construct?
So confidence, so in expanding on the character, confidence. Just to go back, I don't believe in that good and bad English stuff.
I don't either, but it's just something, it's an interesting thing. You hear it a lot here, right? And I've heard a lot where sometimes you'll hear some of the girls, they'll be like, oh, I was in this group with Americans, and it's like, I only understood every other word. I have no idea what they're saying, So that's what I'm saying, because I know I've definitely had people where they've had great ideas, they talk, they're fun to talk to, but you could tell they're nervous because it's like, no, my English. It's like, leave it. Just talk.
I think that those are like false or unwarranted inferiority complexes based off of country, reputation or whatever. Look, the U.S. is where I'm from, but, I love Africa. I'm thankful to be here. I'm here because I want to be here versus there. So, your accent, if we have to say pardon me to each other a few times, that's cool.
All right.
It's about communication, not good English.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. So let's just wrap this up because, like I said, time is money, and I was able to squeeze out this little bit of time. Yeah. Another two-parter. One, what's one of the best things that you really like being here in Kenya? Number one.
Right.
Because we have so many Kenyans who are always like, no, I have to leave this place. This place is shit. There's nothing less for us, but it's amazing at least how many of us Black Americans where it's like, woo, I can only be in the States for 2 weeks, and now it's like, send me home. I'm coming back to Nairobi, right? And that shit is real, right? Yeah. You feel it all the time.
100%.
So give the people where, especially where they're like, no, I want to go to America. What has made you, especially working in a very desired career area, right? Which is generally a very lucrative area, to make you just say, fuck all of that. I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to come out here and I really want to be in this space. Give us a reason why Kenya is good.
So that question is myriad. I mean, I knew for me, I left the States in 2016. I spent 3 years in China, and I got pushed back because of COVID, and all I could think about was how could I get out.
I feel you.
Once I got back.
I feel you.
Having lived in Nairobi now for almost 2 years and visited back to the States a few times at this point, I'm always left with this feeling when I'm in the States, I hope I don't get stuck here.
Woo! Say that again. Say that again.
I hope I don't get stuck here. I can't. I love my life.
I love my life
Kenya.
here too. Yeah.
I love my life. I mean, no country is ever perfect.
No, everybody's got their stuff. I know it's got its stuff. Y'all got your stuff.
But
overall,
there is a sense of familiarity. There's a sense of connectedness. There is a sense of I can just disappear into the street. For the most part. And I love it, and it's just not that way in the U.S. My skill sets are valued here. I had some measure of success in the U.S., but it's very individualized in the U.S. Sure. I feel like I can be a part of a collective mission, or join a mission to really, really help to serve Africa.
I like that. You see, it's good out here. Okay, and my last question before we wrap this up, because I like asking everybody that. What would be 2 pieces of advice that you would give to somebody in the States who is really looking to move out and they really want to come out here? What would be 2 pieces of advice from a financial, because we're talking about finance in this video, so not just the overall, but from that financial point of view, what would be 2 pieces of advice that you would give somebody in the West who's trying to come over here to be able to live out here, to make
just
that
2,
plunge?
huh?
Okay, no, if you got more? No, hold on. I'm a lady who likes all the things, okay? So if you got more than 2, run me more than 2.
Let me think of the first things that come to mind. Plan. You know, don't come with this idea that Nairobi is cheap.
It ain't
Nairobi
cheap.
is not
It's
cheap.
not. It ain't cheap.
Especially if you want to maintain a certain standard of living, right? So, you know, come with if you can have some passive income. Really, that's great. If you plan on staying here full time, have an investment plan. You know, if you're going to come out here, you know, you're not finding a job out here. You're just not. It ain't going to happen. But there are so many, again, and hear. I want you to hear how I interchange this word. There are so many problems. Oh, I meant to say opportunities that you can invest in.
Facts.
And if you really bang with the people, if you respect the people, they will just open themselves up to you. They will share all their problems. I meant to say opportunities with you. You know, so
I like that. I like that. Well, Rashaan, I appreciate you taking the time today just to be able to kind of talk a little bit about this, because we do get a lot of questions about it. I did do one video before in terms of like how I was able to set myself up financial, and it's just interesting how you've said it. That is one of the things that I did, which was very helpful, i.e. that passive income was key, and 2, really being able to have a plan and a vision, and then everything else is going to kind of fall in line insofar the things you have in control, right?
Can I add one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
Be humble. Don't come out here with the colonizer mindset. You know, if you come out here, you know, with that mindset that you're better or that you're going to take advantage, that you're smoother, you're going to finesse the Kenyans, you're going to get aired.
They're going to air you out. You're going to get
aired out. You know?
Look.
But if you come out with humility, if you come out with, you know, humanity and brotherhood, sisterhood, I mean, this is just an amazing place to live.
It really is. See, I told y'all, it is. It really is. It's nice. Like I said, 2 weeks stateside. Yeah. I'm coming back. Come back to my house with my plants. Ooh, say that again. Look, don't have to do nothing. Anyways, good people. Tasha Tribe. Rashaan Campbell over here. If you guys have an idea, if you've got a business or something and you guys are really looking for somebody to be able to pitch to and really be able to get some feedback, he's right here. Here's your guy. Hit me up in the comments. I'll put on his business contacts. So that way, if you guys do contact him, reach out to him, you're more than welcome to. And that's all I got for you all for today. So, see you guys later. Talk to you later. Like and subscribe. Bye.